How have you been in relationships? Romantic
Uh,
ones.
I've been okay. I haven't been in a lot of like deep relationships. I've had like, I would say 4 very deep relationships in my life, like that went
Yeah.
on longer. And I'm very, in a weird way, I had a lot of growing up to do, was very immature, I was very, very ambitious when I was young. So there was a lot of times when I just didn't make that person the number one priority. I was like, I've got to, and so I'm very lucky that my current wife, my forever wife, and my current wife,
My
my
most
current wife,
recent wife.
my wife for the 2020s. I met her when I had gone through, I think, a lot of trauma and a lot of maturing, and it's almost like I had grown to a point where I was like, I could be with someone as amazing as her, because has really been through some stuff and really but has kept a core moral compass unlike anything I've ever seen. And I always didn't have that. And so she just really kind of just lives by example rather than like by lecturing.
Can you tell me how you changed in that period?
Well, I mean, having a wife die is terrifying.
Who were you a year before?
A year before Michelle passed, or
before Michelle passed? Yeah.
I was, a very, very happy husband, dad, still not 100% believing in myself, was still looking
as a parent, as a husband,
as an artist and slash parent, like as a provider. Like I was approaching my art at that point, like, well, can I provide for my family? So I was taking every gig. I was saying yes to every movie, and I was gone way too much. And I was operating out of panic rather than out of confidence, rather than out of, this isn't right for you, man. Don't worry about the money. Go and be with your family for a while and figure out what you want to do. So it took me a while to kind of, realize that. But I was very, I wasn't as confident as I am now. And real confidence doesn't come from like braggadocio. It comes from, I think, humility, embracing true humility and going, oh yeah, this isn't all about me. I'm not the central character in this. I don't have to be the central character all the time. Sometimes you can hang back and listen. Your time's going to come later.
Are you talking about in specific projects, or you're talking about in life?
In life, I still wanted to be the center. With Michelle, it took me a while to realize, to my discredit, this is even before she passed. Luckily, I realized that what she was doing as a true crime researcher, writer, was so much more extraordinary in a lot of ways than what I was doing. And for the first time in my life, on a 100% level, I was living for someone else, making sure someone else's dream was coming true and expediting what they wanted to have happen. Like, I will be home. I'll be taking care of Alice. You go do what you got to go to this police conference. You have to go talk to these victims and like be away for a couple weeks to get all this research down. I'm here. Let me take care of the fort.
Did you enjoy that?
Loved it.
Interesting.
It was so freeing to, like, this has nothing to do with me right now. I am here.
Just a soldier.
I'm a soldier. I'm facilitating someone else's dream, and it's an amazing dream, and it feels fantastic. It's like when, like, in a weird way, a true artist, when they get into the deep stuff, it's not about them anymore. They're facilitating this other vision. When you direct a movie, I even think when you do comedy and tell jokes, the jokes that really, really, of mine, that have really, really landed the hardest are the ones where it's not really about me.
Mm-hmm.
It's more about I'm serving this piece. I don't want to say this piece of art. It sounds so pretentious, but when you can really get outside of yourself, get outside of your need to be cool, your need to be the center, your need to be the alpha, that's when a really amazing work starts coming out.
So
but it's scary to do that.
So who did you become in the years after Michelle's death? Who, relative to who you were?
I became way more humble, way less cool, and way more comfortable with not being cool, and way more. I used to be very, very competitive with my friends because I was so insecure. I was so worried about being abandoned and left behind. And there were moments, I never did anything directly to it, but in my mind, in my head, I was doing we hate it when our friends become successful. And I was like, sometimes wishing for my friend's failure because I wanted to be the one that made it. And now, especially when I met Michelle and I found someone like, oh, it's so much more rewarding when you are aggressively, zealously supporting someone else's work and trying to make sure that they're doing better. And so because of that, and then also because of meeting Meredith is the biggest cheerleader for all of her friends. Like, she wants her friends to succeed in a very genuine way. And so I've very much come around to, I want the people that I love to do great and to put great work into the world. And then what I found out, ironically enough, is that makes my work better because I make the world more receptive to the kind of stuff that I'm doing when I'm promoting my friends and people that I love, that I want to, rather than tear stuff. The stuff that I hate now, I just ignore. I don't really tear it down anymore. And instead I try to, prop things up that I think need light on them. And it took me a long time to get there because I was really insecure. Then, we're all insecure when we get in this business. You don't want to be left out. You want to be in the fastest moving line. But a lot of times if you want to be in the fastest moving line, promote the stuff that you want to be doing better and then let it go from there.
Was it your behavior as a dad?
You know this. There's never that, unlike in movies and in some novels, there's never that one big moment of epiphany that changes you forever. It's in little stages, and it's 2 steps forward and 3 back, but you keep trying. But yeah, the meeting Michelle, kind of seeing her worldview, becoming a dad, going through grief, having everything stripped away from me, then meeting Meredith, who's a genuine, like, I want to uplift everyone, like, for real. Whereas a lot of times I would kind of give lip service to that, but she's the real deal. And so seeing all that, Meredith calls it, I just want to elevate everything. That's what she calls it. I want to elevate everything. And she always enters any situation of, how can I elevate this rather than rip it apart? So it was a long evolution for me because I'm thick. It takes me a while to learn lessons. You got to
Is there a way that like people could do it? I mean, I don't think is it pursuable?
It's absolutely pursuable if you enter it. And it took me a while to realize this. Just know that you're not going to have the one epiphany that changes you forever. It's something you got to show up for every day. And some days you're not going to show up, and you're going to have, I wasted that day. It's okay. Be present, acknowledge it, show up the next day. There were, if I based my comedy career on my every set I've ever had, then there's at least 15 sets, and there's 3 very specific ones I could point to that I had every reason just to quit. If you're going to base it on, oh my God, that's the worst set I've ever seen someone do, But you show up the next day. You wake up the next day. The world didn't end. You have another chance to get it right.
How long ago were those sets?
I remember I was doing one at the Improv. This was maybe 10 years ago. You would think that, okay, I'm at this point where people are happy to see me and I'd be good enough to, and this guy went on before me and he just annihilated. And then I went on stage and I was absolutely not connecting and kind of being pissy about it. And then someone came back in the room and was like, the guy who was just on stage is hanging out in the bar. And like 3 different tables got up to go get their pictures with him. Like, people getting up, like, I would rather go look at that guy. So that's only 10 years ago.
Yep.
And there was a few months ago, I was trying out new stuff at this place called the Write-Off Room. And I followed a very good friend of mine who had stuff that was ready and it fucking killed. And I'm like, I'm committed to trying my new stuff. And I just absolutely friggin' ate it. Like, it was one of those in your face, like, you could not follow that person. Like, that person was on and you were not.
Yeah.
And that is always in your future somewhere. It's okay.
Yeah, it's you were committed to trying new shit.
I'm going to try this new shit no matter what. Oh, boy. Boy,
Yeah.
did I commit to that.
Hey, did you like that? Did you like that? Yeah, did you like it, though? You want more? Don't want to work? Would rather watch videos of me grab-assing with people? First of all, go up here to subscribe, and then go up here to watch more clips. This is like when the weatherman says that there's a high-pressure system coming in. I'm not really used to the green screen.